Something has happened to trigonometry, which has triggered a mass exodus from that website, from that supposed free speech platform with those people, Konstantin and Francis, who supposedly believe in free speech. But of course, when the white ethno-nationalists, the white supremacists, whatever, I'm not judging, I'm just saying, whenever they come along and start saying their phrases, then if there's something you want us to talk about that we're not talking about, demographics, they all shout all at once. They all shout 14 words, demographics, 14 words, demographics. I didn't even know what they meant until the trigonometry boys explained it to me, and then they said that anyone using those words they were going to block. Yeah, that sounds like free speech to me. And then I've just entered into a world with new words which I didn't even know, like groypers, for example. I had no idea what that word meant. Still don't, really. But there are people that think that conservatives, there are true conservatives and then there are cook conservatives, but the groypers are the true ones because they're the ethno-nationalists, that they're the ones going, what about demographics? Demographics is destiny. I'm sure that those groypers aren't talking about 5G. I'm sure those groypers aren't talking about vaccines. I'm sure those groypers aren't talking about fracking. I'm sure those groypers aren't talking about internet censorship. I'm sure those groypers aren't talking about the global banking system. I'm sure those groypers aren't talking about... You get my point? If people are trying to have their free speech and you're shouting them down en masse with an organised campaign and they're all saying demographics, exclamation mark, then you're stopping other people's free speech because the natural flow of that conversation would be different if you weren't there inundating it. And that's not to say that what you're doing isn't important, because it is. It's just that it's not supportive of free speech, and that's why I find it very difficult. I'm on the fence of the whole thing. They're all criticising people, like Spiked, and criticising RT, and criticising Jonathan Pye, even though he's a leftist, etc. But people that say woke, what's the point in criticising people that mock wokeness? Because it's not just anti-whiteness. Wokeness isn't anti-whiteness. Something could be woke, and it could be about LGBT rights. It's nothing to do with white people. It's about the agenda, and it follows a lot of different subjects. It's an ideology, yeah, but it's not just about race. And the problem with ethno-nationalists and white nationalists is that they only think about race, just like the leftists. That's why they get annoyed at me when I say, the left are the real racists. What do you mean they're the real racists? We all need to be actually racist. By their metric, by the metric, the left are the real racists. That's why Tommy did a documentary called Panodrama and exposed John Sweeney's racism and homophobia and everything. Tommy didn't care, but the left do. That's the metric. That's why he did it, you see. That's the point I was trying to make, but these people are It's so difficult with people that don't believe in free speech because they will bombard you, they will shout at you, and they'll shut you down if you're not saying what they want you to say. So there were ethno-nationalists trolling trigonometry. So they were using words like 14 words, ethno-nationalist, kike shill, all the rest of it, etc. But then trigonometry's response was to say all people that are unsubbing, all the people that are unsubscribing are ethno-nationalists, and they're all doing it because they want to talk about white supremacy. When it might be just because they are objecting to the double standards on free speech. Trigonometry was supposed to be free speech absolutists, and now by saying this and blocking people en masse all around the world, you're just proving to everyone that you're not free speech absolutists, and there's no reason for them to follow you. So they're all unsubscribing in protest, and it's not because they're racist, it's not because they're ethno-nationalists, it's not because they're undesirables of any kind. It's just literally because you have a double standard to do with free speech. But there are a lot of interesting questions that have come up about trigonometry recently. Where do they get their money from to have that studio and those posh cameras and all those guests every time if they're just relying on donations with those hacks that are doing those, live streams every now and then with the odd insult here and there and the odd comment, we'll do that. Where are you getting your money from, guys? We know where the Young Turks are getting their money from, Google, but where are you getting it from? They won't have Katie Hopkins on because she said something racist once. They won't have Tommy on because, we heard about a video where he hit someone. Even if it was in self-defense, it doesn't matter because context doesn't matter with these Nazis. I called them Nazis. In fact, I don't usually call people Nazis, but trigonometry, when they shut people down, when there's important situations, and they say, we're free speech absolutists, we want to talk about anything, what do you want to talk about? No, can't talk about that. That is hypocritical. That's what people are calling out. That's why people are unsubscribing. They should know that. And just because I'm calling out trigonometry's bullshit doesn't mean I'm groyping either. Groypers are retards. To my mind, groypers are pretty much normies next to the people that are awakened about the New World Order. You can go around saying selenium cuts the breast cancer rates by 60%, or you can go around saying demographics. See which one has more of an effect.